Well, let's move down the list on a couple of other issues. Let's pick the next bill that you think is worthy of conversation.
An interesting bill is and it's a little bit controversial among the counties. It's House Bill 160, Representative Steve Handy, who is a Wasatch Front legislator and one of a growing number of Wasatch Front legislators who are taking an interest in public lands. I like his vision on this. What it is but it's a little controversial. This bill provides a framework for the designation of wilderness in Utah. Now, some people say, what? Is that a county issue? Designation of wilderness? Well, it kind of goes hand in hand with the transfer of federal lands movement by Ken Ivory. And it's a way of saying to the world, you know, if all the federal lands get transferred to Utah, as is envisioned, it doesn't mean that there's going to be an absolute shutdown of protection measures where, you know, pockets of land deserve wilderness type protection. So it's a way of saying, hey, look, if these federal lands ever happen to drop into the state's lap, there will already be an infrastructure in place, a legal infrastructure to designate lands. So those people say, wait a minute, you're going to put all this beyond the Federal Wilderness Act. No, there'll be something there. It doesn't mean we're going to roll over and make wilderness left and right, but there'll be a procedural process in place so that if the citizens of Utah, not the citizens on the East Coast, but if the citizens of Utah, through a locally driven process, say, you know what, this piece of ground is worthy of wilderness designation. It'll be a locally driven process, and it'll be handled by a local law. So
that's really the way it should be, in my opinion.
That's the way it should be. This isn't about necessarily wilderness is good, wilderness is bad. It's about local control, Chad.
Do you read in that bill that there would be the ability for the state to redefine or categorize or make subcategories of wilderness? Because
I do.
Years ago there was a mechanism bandied about creating a backcountry designation that would be a buffer around designated wilderness areas instead of just making bigger wilderness.
It would be up to our legislature to make all those many determinations.
But they would fit under the process of this particular law?
They would.
Okay.
Now, there may be some future massaging of this as time goes on, but this is a step out, the first step out into, it's Utah acting as if we are ready to manage all of our lands. And it's not like saying, well, we don't know what to do. We're not the federal government. We can't have a wilderness procedure. Well, yes, we can. We can act like we own the land.